Today I'm going to show you how to make pumpkin pie. For the pastry you will need 200 grams of plain flour, 130 grams of butter cubed, 1 tablespoon of caster sugar, 1 egg and about 1 tablespoon of cold water. Firstly, in a bowl add your caster sugar to your flour and give it a good mix. Then add your butter and with the tips of your fingers rub in until it resembles breadcrumbs. Then add your pre-beaten egg and mix. And then add the cold water a little by little until the mixture starts to come together. Once it starts to come together, form it into a dough, and then we're going to pop that in the fridge to rest while we make the filling. For the filling you will need 600 grams of pumpkins, 100 grams of caster sugar, 150 millilitres of milk, 25 grams of butter, 2 eggs, half a teaspoon of ground ginger and a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Firstly, boil your pumpkin in a saucepan for about 15 minutes or until it is softened. Then drain the water from the pumpkin. Then you will need to mash the pumpkin. I do this by keeping my pumpkin in a sieve and mashing it with the back of the spoon. This way you are extracting any water from the pumpkin because we just want the pumpkin flesh, we don't want any of the water. Then discard the water. Then to your mashed pumpkin flesh, add your milk and your pre-melted butter and give it a stir. Then, having pre-beaten your eggs, add these to the mix and give it another stir. Then add your caster sugar, your ginger and your cinnamon and again give it a really good mix until it's well combined. Then get your pastry out of the fridge and having floured your work surface, you'll want to roll your pastry out. And I have used a 22 centimetre round pie dish, which I have sprinkled with flour so then the pastry doesn't stick as it cooks. Then I've simply lined the pie dish with the pastry, cutting off any excess. And then we need to blind bake this in an oven before we add the mixture. So blind baking is where you line your pastry with tin foil, and then ideally add baking beans to the bottom to weight it down so then it doesn't bubble up as it's cooking. If you don't have baking beans, you can use dried beans from the cupboard. So if you've got like dried kidney beans, or you can use dried rice. You just basically want to weight the tin foil down so then the pie crust doesn't rise up as it's cooking. So we want to bake this in a preheated oven at gas mark 6, 200 degrees centigrade or 180 degrees fan assisted for 15 minutes. Once it's been blind baked for 15 minutes, we will then need to remove the baking beans and the tin foil. Then simply add your pumpkin filling. And reducing the temperature in your preheated oven to gas mark 4, 180 degrees centigrade or 160 fan assisted. Bake this for about 35 to 40 minutes or until the middle is completely solid and no longer liquidy. And there you have it. That's how you make pumpkin pie.